Brain-computer interface, or BCI, is a technology that creates a direct pathway between a human brain and an external device. It is a concept that sounds like science fiction, but it is rapidly becoming a reality in laboratories and hospitals around the world. At its best, BCI holds the power to transform lives for the better. Imagine a person paralyzed by a spinal cord injury being able to move a robotic arm simply by thinking about it. Picture a stroke victim who has lost the ability to speak suddenly communicating again through a computer that translates their thoughts into words. These are not distant dreams. They are the tangible promises that drive researchers forward every day in this remarkable field. The core function of BCI technology is to decode the brain's complex electrical signals and convert them into commands for a machine. Inversely, it can also send information from a device back into the brain. This bidirectional communication opens up a world of possibilities that extend far beyond medical applications. For soldiers on a battlefield, it could mean controlling a swarm of drones with their mind or receiving tactical data directly into their neural pathways. For everyday citizens, it might one day mean typing an email just by thinking, or learning a new skill at an accelerated rate. The potential to augment human capabilities is immense, promising a future where the limits of our own biology are no longer a barrier to what we can achieve. However, this incredible potential comes with a profound and dark side. The very same technology that can restore function to the disabled could also be used to control or manipulate individuals against their will. If a system can read thoughts to help someone communicate, it could theoretically also read thoughts for surveillance, creating a thought police scenario once relegated to dystopian novels. If it can send information into the brain to enhance learning, it could also be used to implant false memories or alter a person's emotions and decisions. This duality makes BCI one of the most ethically challenging technologies of our time, forcing us to confront difficult questions about privacy, consent, and what it truly means to be human. The conversation about BCI is therefore not just about technological advancement, it is a critical discussion about our future. As we stand on the cusp of this new era, we must weigh the incredible benefits against the staggering risks. The development of BCI cannot proceed in a vacuum, driven solely by scientific curiosity or military advantage. It requires careful consideration, robust public debate, and the establishment of strong ethical guardrails. The path we choose now will determine whether this powerful tool is used to liberate and empower humanity, or to create new, unimaginable forms of oppression and control. The stakes are simply too high to leave it to chance. To understand the public's deep-seated anxiety about government-led brain research, we must look back in time. We must examine the dark history of the CIA's MKUltra program. Running from the early 1950s until it was officially halted in 1973, MKUltra was a top-secret and illegal human experimentation program designed to master the art of mind control. The CIA, operating under the broad and often unchecked justification of national security, sought methods to manipulate mental states and brain functions. Their goal was to develop techniques for interrogation and to create a truth serum that could be used against Cold War adversaries. The program was not a theoretical exercise. It involved real people. The methods used in MKUltra were horrifyingly abusive and were conducted on unwitting subjects. The agency administered high doses of psychoactive drugs, most notably LSD, to hospital patients, prisoners, and even its own agents without their knowledge or consent. They subjected individuals to sensory deprivation, hypnosis, psychological torture, and other cruel techniques in an attempt to break down the human mind and rebuild it under their control. The experiments were often devastating, leading to severe psychological trauma, long-term mental health issues, and in some cases, death. The program represented a profound betrayal of public trust and a flagrant violation of the most basic human rights. The full, horrifying scope of MKUltra only came to light in the mid-1970s, thanks to the investigations of the Church Committee in the United States Congress. However, accountability was scarce. The CIA had already destroyed most of the program's records in 1973, making it nearly impossible to identify all the victims or prosecute the officials responsible. This history of secrecy, abuse, and evasion of consequences has left an indelible stain on the public's perception of government intelligence agencies. It serves as a chilling precedent for what can happen when powerful organizations are allowed to pursue advanced, sensitive research without any meaningful oversight or transparency. This legacy of mistrust casts a long and ominous shadow over today's BCI research. When people hear that government agencies like the CIA and DARPA are investing heavily in technologies that can directly interface with the human brain, the parallels to MKUltra are both immediate and frightening. The fear is that history could repeat itself, but with far more powerful and sophisticated tools. If the CIA was willing to use crude methods like drugs and psychological abuse for mind control in the past, what might it be willing to do with technology that can read and write to the brain itself? This historical context is not just a footnote, it is the central reason why public vigilance is so crucial today. The primary engine driving modern BCI research within the United States government is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA. Often called the Pentagon's brain, DARPA has been funding neurotechnology since the 1970s, with the clear objective of enhancing military capabilities. While some programs focus on restorative applications, such as helping wounded soldiers regain lost function, a significant portion of the research is aimed at augmenting the abilities of able-bodied personnel. The goal is to create the super soldier of the future, one who can process information faster, make better decisions under stress, and control complex weapon systems with the power of their mind alone. This is no longer the stuff of Hollywood, it is a stated objective. DARPA's programs are ambitious and far-reaching. The Next Generation Non-Surgical Neurotechnology, or N3 program, for example, seeks to develop high-resolution, bidirectional BCI systems that are wearable and do not require risky brain surgery. The stated purpose is to allow a soldier to command a fleet of drones or defend against a cyber attack simply by thinking. Other projects, like Strengthen, aim to use BCI to bolster a soldier's cognitive resilience and improve team cohesion in the heat of combat. The United States Air Force has even explored using non-invasive electrical stimulation to accelerate pilot training, with early results showing significant improvements in learning and retention. These advancements are driven by intense geopolitical competition with rivals like China and Russia. The risks associated with this military push are profound and multifaceted. On a purely physical level, even non-invasive devices have been known to cause headaches, tingling, and other discomforts, while surgical implants carry the risk of infection and rejection. More alarming are the potential cognitive and psychological side effects. Modulating brain activity could lead to cognitive overload, memory distortion, or an unhealthy dependency on the technology. Instead of building resilience, these interventions could inadvertently undermine a soldier's natural decision-making abilities, creating mental fragility where it is least desired. The very personality and identity of an individual could be altered in unpredictable ways. This raises critical ethical dilemmas, particularly concerning informed consent within the hierarchical structure of the military. Can a soldier truly refuse a voluntary enhancement if it becomes a standard for their unit or a prerequisite for career advancement? A 2020 RAND report highlighted these concerns, recommending that mechanisms be created for service members to object to BCI use. The line between man and machine is blurring, and the military is at the forefront of this transformation. As DARPA continues to push the boundaries of what is possible, the need for a parallel push in ethical guidelines and protections for service members becomes ever more urgent. We are now at a critical juncture, facing a technology that offers both utopian promise and dystopian peril. On one hand, BCI could revolutionize medicine, restore lost abilities, and unlock new dimensions of human potential. Companies are already conducting successful trials, allowing paralyzed individuals to communicate and interact with the world again. These humanitarian benefits are real and profound, offering hope to millions. The technology itself is not inherently evil. Its value is determined entirely by how we choose to develop and deploy it. The potential for good is immense, but it can only be realized if we proceed with extreme caution and a deep commitment to ethical principles. On the other hand, the potential for abuse, especially by secretive government agencies with a history like the CIA's MKUltra program, is terrifyingly real. In an age of mass surveillance, BCI represents the final frontier, the ability to peer into the human mind itself. The risk is not just that our thoughts could be monitored, but that they could be manipulated. In the wrong hands, BCI could become the ultimate tool of social control, used for coercive interrogation, behavioral modification, or suppressing political dissent. The very concept of mental privacy and individual autonomy would be threatened, creating a society where true freedom of thought ceases to exist. The only path forward that avoids this dark future is one paved with strong, transparent oversight and robust public accountability. We cannot afford to let the development of this technology be dictated from behind the closed doors of intelligence agencies or defense departments. There must be clear, legally binding international rules that govern BCI research and application. These regulations must put human rights at the forefront, establishing an absolute prohibition on its use for torture, manipulation, or unauthorized surveillance. Scientists, ethicists, lawmakers, and the public must all have a seat at the table to shape these crucial policies. Ultimately, our best defense is an informed and engaged citizenry. Whistleblowers who expose abuses must be protected, and institutions that violate the public trust must be held accountable. The lessons from MKUltra taught us the high cost of unchecked power and secrecy. We must not forget that lesson now, when the stakes are higher than ever before. BCI technology is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used to build a better world or to tear it down. The choice is ours to make, and it will require our constant vigilance to ensure that this incredible innovation serves humanity rather than enslaving it.